Okay, it helps if I turn on the projector. I have not done that today. Yeah. Thanks. It's okay.
What if we don't do it?
Then you don't do it, Jerry. But I would like you to do it. It doesn't tell me who did it, and it doesn't tell me your names. Does this look connected to you? My computer says it's connected and the projector's on. No, because, look. Oh, there it is. I forgot I had it on that setting. Okay, so let's get rid of this. So back in geometry, you guys learned about sine, cosine, and tangent. Remember, sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. Okay? Then there are three other trig functions, and basically they're the reverse of those three I just told you. So this one's called cosecant. It's the opposite of sine, so it's hypotenuse over opposite. Or another way to write it is 1 over sine because you flip the fraction. Secant is the opposite of cosine. You have hypotenuse over adjacent. And cotangent is the opposite of tangent. The way I remember which ones go together is cotangent has a t in it, just like tangent. Secant is almost spelled backwards like cosine is, and then CSC and sine go together because they're just left over. Okay? I also want you to remember the Pythagorean theorem, which is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. I'll need this for number 1. It wants me to find the 6 trig functions of this angle theta right here. And it gives me 2 side lengths, but I need to find my hypotenuse. So, how do I find my hypotenuse? What? 5 squared plus 12 squared. Okay, so what's 5 squared? $25 plus, okay? 25 plus 144 is 169. 5 plus 4 is 9, Jerry. Okay? Is that my hypotenuse? What do I have to do? Square root it. What is the square root of 169? 13. So my hypotenuse is 13. This question wants me to find my 6 trig functions. You guys need to be... I did!
Why?
Oh, why? I thought you said I need to. Because the formula is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. So what I did is I have 5 squared plus 12 squared equals c squared. So when I got the 169, it equaled c squared. Okay. Now that I have my hypotenuse, it wants me to find the 6 trig functions. So I'm going to start off with sine. What is my sine of theta? Remember, theta just means angle measure. So what's my opposite side length over my hypotenuse? Okay. Then I'm going to do cosine of theta, which is it says find all 6. Okay. Then what is my cosine? This one's adjacent over hypotenuse. Guys, are you paying attention? Not 1 over 13. What's my side length next to the angle? Adjacent over hypotenuse. What's my adjacent side? 5 over 13. Okay. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. So what's my opposite side? 12 over 5. Questions on those three? Those are ones you've used before. No, it's not all 6, Jerry. I'll give you a few minutes to write that down. That's weird. I'm taking attendance on my phone and it has you as a junior and a sophomore. As 2 different people. Yeah. I'll check it out on the oh, whoa. It's got lots of people in here twice. Okay, so then I have cosecant, which is the opposite of sine. Since it's the opposite of sine, I take the fraction and flip it. So now I'm going to have 13 over 12. Then, what?
Right there, why is there like 2 rows?
2 rows, what do you mean? Like sine and cosecant? Oh, right here?
Yeah, why is there like 2 rows?
It's the same thing, it's just different ways of writing it. No. What this means is when it says 1 over sine, that means flip the fraction. So what I did was, instead of 12 over 13, it's 13 over 12. Why? Because cosecant is hypotenuse over adjacent. It's, if you get it up to calculus, it's more important than sine. It's just the higher levels of math use it. If you're going into college algebra next year, you'll also use the 6 trig functions. Because sometimes it just makes more sense to use the other functions. Okay, then I have secant, which is the opposite of cosine. So, (13 over 5). And then cotangent is the opposite of tangent, so that would be 5 over 12. Questions on number 1?
That's it?
That's it. That's just saying flip the fraction. It was 2 different ways of writing the same thing, remember? Can I move on to number 2? Kinda, except it gives me 1 of them instead, so I don't have to find all 5. I only have to find 5. So this one tells me sine is 4 over 7, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a triangle. I know sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so my opposite side length is 4, and my hypotenuse is 7. Pretend this is a right triangle, because I cannot draw. Okay, so what do I need to do to solve this one? Anyone? So I'm going to plug into the Pythagorean theorem. This would be side length A, B, and C. So I have a squared plus 4 squared equals 7 squared. Okay. 4 squared is 7 squared is, okay, then what do I want to do? Try again. Try again. Try again. Okay, can I take the square root of 33? Okay. So I just get the square root of 33. That's going to go right here for my side length on the bottom. Okay? So it wants me to find the other 5 given sine. So the opposite of sine, remember, is cosecant. So I just take that fraction that was given to me and switch it, which is going to be 7 over 4. Then I have cosine. No. Square root of 33 over 7. Okay? What do you want me to find next? Okay. So my tangent is going to be what? Guys, be quiet and pay attention to the notes. I remember what I was going to say. I'm calling home on Friday on Wednesday through Friday on everyone who's failing. Starting Wednesday and then until Friday, because I think there's 10 people calling and I can only make 3 phone calls a day. Because I can only call at lunch. Because I teach all 6 hours and I can't call before school because it's too early. And after school I have people stay until I have to go leave. And I'm not going to cancel tutoring to make phone calls. Oh, no. I just only have like half an hour to call in. So my tangent is what? No. So you see how my angle's right here? Hypotenuse, by the way, is always the longest. Yeah, hypotenuse is always my longest side. So 7 is my longest, or the diagonal side on a right triangle. Opposite is always the one that's straight across from the angle. Yeah. Yeah. So you want me to label opposite adjacent hypotenuse? I can spell. It's always going to be a right triangle for what we do in this class. In college algebra, it won't, but then you learn something different. Adjacent. What? And then it depends on, like, if the angle was up here, then adjacent and opposite would switch. Okay, someone told me tangent was square root of, 4 over the square root of 33. So, in math, we typically don't leave square roots on the bottom. To move this up to the top, it's going to be 4 square root of 33, and then on the bottom, it stays at 33. I multiplied the top and bottom by the square root of 33 because you can't have radicals on the bottom of a fraction. Yeah, I just move it. So when I move it, it goes to the top, but I have to leave the number on the bottom. This one I'm going to have 5. If I read the question, it tells me how many answers I should have. If it's looking for all 6, yes. So far on the 2 we've done, yes, Jerry, but the ones on the back won't have all 6 answers. You have to read the question to know what you're doing. Okay, what am I still missing? Okay, so secant goes with cosine. So what would my secant be? Okay. So remember, I told you we can't leave the square root on the bottom, so it's going to turn into 7 square root of 33 over 33. Okay. Then cotangent, I'm just square root of 33 over 4. Questions here. That's it for this problem. Which one? Cotangent? I flip the fraction for tangent. Cotangent and tangent are opposites. I switch the top and the bottom of the fraction. So instead of 4 being on top, 4 is on the bottom, and square root of 33. Yeah. The only thing that changes is if I end up with the radical on the bottom. Questions here. You will want a calculator for number 3 if you don't already have one. Can I move on or not yet? Am I good now? Okay, so number 3 wants me to find the value of x for the right triangle. So what information do I have? I have my angle. What else? Hypotenuse. I'm just going to label it with an H. What else? Adjacent. So what do I want to... Which trig function do I want to use? Which one has adjacent and hypotenuse? Cosine. So I'm going to do cosine of 30, and then equals, what's my adjacent? Because cosine is adjacent and hypotenuse. Like if I... Oh. Theta. It has a name. Theta, it just means angle measure. Theta. T-H-E-T-A. Theta. Okay, so my adjacent is what? No, 30 is my angle, x. My hypotenuse is 8. Ignoring that cosine of 30 is not a number like we normally see. How would I normally solve this? So if it just regularly said 30 equals x over 8, how would I solve it? So how would I get x by itself? Yeah, so I'm gonna... Okay, so I'm going to multiply by 8. This cancels out over here. And then on the left side I have 8 cosine 30. Now what I want to do is on my calculator, I'm going to go to, just kidding. You see this button that says mode? This is very important. We're going to learn about radians tomorrow. You might have learned it in geometry last year, but what I need to do is I go to mode, and the third choice down says radian or degree. I want to make sure the degree box is highlighted, so I click enter if it's not. Then I'm going to quit out of this menu, so I go second mode to go back home. And then I type in 8. Cosine is right above the left parenthesis. I don't know my left from right. Then I type in 30. And then what? Mode, and you want to change radian to degree. It's the third choice down. Okay, so once I've done this, I go type in 8 cosine 30. Why are you confused? Okay, where are you confused? Mode. I go to mode, and you see 3 choices down. It says radian or degree. You want to highlight degree and hit enter. Now degree's highlighted. Second mode to go back home. And then I type in 8 cosine 30. Cosine's above the left parenthesis. Okay, and then I press enter, and it gives me this. I'm going to do 3 decimal places. Questions here? That's it. Nope, we only have to find x. So if I read the problem, Jerry, I will see that this one only wants one answer. Questions here?